If you are short on time, this is the simplest way to build muscle. Ever wonder just how little you really need to train to make progress? If you want to build muscle, increase strength, look better, and improve your health, without endless hours in a gym, you're in the right place. If you're new here, I'm Adam Scott Murad, a certified performance nutritionist, personal trainer, and online coach. Over the last 20 years, I've built over 80 pounds of muscle, and in the last 10 years, I've helped men and women build muscle and lose fat. Today, I'm going to show you how to gain muscle efficiently. I'll walk you through how to structure your workouts so you can maximize your results in less time than you thought possible. Before we get into it, a quick disclaimer. If you've got unlimited time and you want to maximize muscle growth, this might not be for you. But if you're short on time and you want to build a solid physique, keep watching. Most people think that they need to spend hours in a gym, but research suggests that you can gain a significant amount of muscle with far less time and effort. One of the top researchers in the field of hypertrophy, basically muscle growth, Brad Schoenfeld, has studies showing that many people can get most of their muscle growth, around 50 to 70% of their genetic potential, with just 4 sets or less per major muscle group per week. That can be spread across 2 to 3 sessions. That can be done in as little as 60 to 90 minutes per week. In fact, even single set training can be effective for a lot of people when they are starting out. If you're consistent and focus on compound movement, you can build a muscular physique with minimal time investment. So just to recap, if you're starting out, you could do 2 to 3 sessions a week with 2 to 4 sets per major muscle group per week. For maximum efficiency, 70 to 80% of your routine should be based around compound exercises. And no, you're not limited to squats, deadlifts, and bench presses. Compound movements work multiple muscle groups at once, giving you the best return on your investment. Think of compound movements like the Swiss Army knife of exercises, one tool that gets a whole lot of jobs done at once. I find that starting on the lower end will help you build the habit and get used to the muscle soreness. Then you can build on that with less friction. There is a caveat. Not everyone responds the same way to lower volume training, and if you've been training a while, chances are you won't too. Let's say 4 to 6 weeks have passed and you're not seeing any noticeable changes. This is where you may need to increase your training volume. If you have the time available, a good target is 10 major sets per muscle group per week. That may sound like a lot, but if you break it down across 2 to 3 workouts, it becomes a lot more manageable. You're likely here because you want to spend less time working out and still get great results. What if I told you you could cut your workout time by 40% and still get the same muscle growth? That's where supersets come in. Personally, for the last 12 years, I've been doing mostly supersets, just due to not wanting to spend more than 30 to 45 minutes training. This is where you perform 2 exercises back to back with little to no rest in between. A recent study actually found that supersets, especially agonist-antagonist supersets, where you alternate between opposite muscle groups like chest and back or biceps and triceps, can significantly cut down the workout time without sacrificing muscle growth. For example, you might do a set of dumbbell bench presses for chest, rest 60 seconds, and then do a set of dumbbell rows for your back. Then rest 1 to 2 minutes before repeating the superset for your planned set count. This method allows you to fit more volume into a shorter workout. Training with minimal time is like squeezing juice from an orange. You're trying to get the most out of every drop. Supersets are your juicer. For those of you that need more volume, supersets are especially useful. Supersets allow you to squeeze those extra sets in without spending double the amount of time in the gym. This means you can do more work in the same amount of time and still get great results. So remember, if you find yourself needing to increase your volume because you're not responding well to low volume training, or you've hit a plateau but don't have more time to spend in the gym, start using supersets. This will allow you to hit the volume target of 10 sets per major muscle group per week without extending your workout time. If you've been training like 3 to 5 years and you've made a good amount of progress and you want to continue to see progress, but you have major time commitments. Start at 10 sets per muscle group per week, then add sets if you're not progressing. Remember, everyone is different, so take a more proactive approach and look at how you're actually recovering between workouts and how you're progressing before you make any changes. If recovery is slow, you may want to scale it back. Just like if a certain exercise is causing you pain or you're just not able to do it, you may want to replace them. Building muscle is a lot more forgiving than some people will have you believe. There's a lot of misinformation out there with new training methods popping up all the time. But the reality is most people don't need to worry about the finer details like rest periods, frequency, or the latest training fad. In fact, sticking to the basics will get you 90% of the way there. For most people, training 2 to 3 times a week is more than enough to see solid results. And rest periods, I would say that as long as you're resting at least 90 seconds between sets, you're good to go. Studies have shown there's little to no difference between resting 90 seconds and 3 minutes when it comes to muscle growth. People often overthink how they should train each muscle group. Do you need to hit chest 3 times a week, or is once enough? While training a muscle group twice a week tends to produce slightly better results, once a week can still get the job done, especially for beginners or for people with limited time. For a long time, the idea was that you needed to stick to the 8 to 12 rep range for hypertrophy, but that's not entirely true. There's been a lot of research suggesting that you can build muscle across a wide range of reps, from 5 all the way up to 30 plus reps. The key is pushing yourself hard enough. You can vary your rep ranges to suit your preferences or limitations. For example, if you have joint issues or just prefer lighter weights, you can still grow muscle with higher reps. Just make sure you're training close enough to failure. You can of course vary your rep ranges, trying 5 to 8 reps for heavier strength focused sets and 15 to 20 reps for lighter isolated high rep work. Both can be effective as long as you're training hard enough. Now, this video would not be complete without touching on intensity. Training to failure is training to the point where you cannot do another rep. While failure can be useful in certain scenarios, especially for advanced lifters, most people can stop 2 to 3 reps short of failure. This is a 2 to 3 RIR, reps in reserve, and still see great results. In fact, training to failure too often can actually lead to burnout and injury, especially if you're not advanced. Remember, muscle growth is like growing a garden. You don't need to water it 24/7, but you do need to water it regularly. Miss too many sessions and your gains wither. The real key to muscle growth is consistency and effort. If you're training hard and you're progressively challenging yourself over time, progressively overloading, you will see growth, regardless of the finer details. Think of progressive overload like climbing a mountain. You're not leaping to the top in one go. You're taking steady steps, but every step gets you closer. Use the double progression model on screen to ensure you're always trying to progress week on week, or at least every few weeks. One more rep, or more weight, or more sets over time, and staying consistent, whether you're using lighter weights, supersets, or different rep ranges. If you're pushing yourself, you'll make progress. Now, no muscle building conversation is complete without talking about nutrition. Strength training will tell your body to grow. The food you put in will support the growth. If nutrition is the fuel, then lifting is the spark that sets the engine in motion. No fuel, you're not going anywhere. If you have a lot of excess body fat to lose, I suggest combining this with a calorie deficit of around 20 to 25%. If you only have a bit of fat to lose, you can put yourself to maintenance calories. If you are as lean as you want to be, I want you to start with a 5% calorie surplus. That's 5% above maintenance, aiming to gain around 0.2 to 0.5% of your body weight per week. If you're not gaining for like 2 to 3 weeks straight, then you can increase your calories by a further 5%. Protein wise, there's no real benefit of going over 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. If you want to eat more, you can. It's not going to be damaging, but there likely won't be any additional value. This can be spread across 3 to 4 meals. I put snacks, and no, you don't need 5 to 6 meals a day unless you just prefer it. And if you want the best, most productive workouts, do not remove carbs. Of course, you can still build muscle without carbs, but it's just a bit harder and you won't look as good. You'll look flatter because you're removing the stored carbohydrates from your muscle. Keep your fats to a minimum of 20 to 25% of your total calories. Obviously, there's more to it, but I at least wanted to give you something to action. So as you probably gathered from this video, building muscle does not have to be overly complicated or time consuming. By focusing on the minimum, training 2 to 3 times a week, using supersets, keeping your rep ranges flexible, you can see great results without spending endless hours in a gym. Remember, the key to muscle growth is consistency and progression. And if you've made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you. It means a lot to me. And if you have, comment with any questions you have below, hit that like button and subscribe for future videos. Have the best day ever, and we'll talk soon.